Sunday's his long run day, 16K run today, which is the longest of the week. But as you can probably tell from this title, I'm going to be reviewing, yes, we're going to be reviewing some trainers. We're going to be reviewing the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2s and the Nike Infinity React Infinity Run Flyknit. Yeah, it's a massive mouthful, but I think a lot of us just know it as Nike Reacts. So I've had a few requests from people, just messaged me on Instagram saying, Jack, I'm getting really into my running, as obviously everyone's kind of in lockdown and none of the gyms are open, so it's kind of hard for people to get that exercising because obviously you can't go to the gym or anything. So a lot of people are resorting to running or cycling, which is absolutely brilliant. So I've had a few people just message me saying, Jack, can you recommend any trainers for me to get? So I thought the best way for me to do that, and currently the trainers that I'm recommending are the trainers that I've currently got. So hopefully that can then narrow down what trainers may suit your style of running. I'm gonna get this 16K run in now, and then when I get back, we're gonna do a full review on both the trainers. Got a bee in my shoe. 16K done for today. Feels good. Last run of the week. 74K to total this week off. Finished it off with a big run today. Went at 4:25 kilometer pace. Just reading off Strava, I'll put it here so you guys can have a quick look. I've called this Sunday Funday because why not? Every run is fun. Quite hilly round here, so I gained an elevation of 212, so trying to keep that pace consistent the whole way around was a little bit difficult. I was blowing a little bit up the hills. Straight into the trainers. So today, like I said, we're going to be reviewing these two trainers, so Pegasus Turbo 2s and the Nike Infinity Reacts. Firstly, both a great shoe, but let's firstly talk about the Nike React Infinity Flyknit Run. That is an absolute mouthful, Jesus. Anyway, but obviously they've called it the Flyknit because obviously this outer mesh, it's all Flyknit. At the time when I bought these were a fairly new shoe, which Nike had just released. Nike's main selling point of these shoes is that a shoe to reduce the risk of injury, which is kind of what you want in every shoe. Immediately, as soon as I put them on, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna buy these. A neutral road running shoe, 33mm stack height here in the heel, and then a 24mm stack height here in the forefoot of the shoe. All of this stack height is all Nike Reacts foam, which they put into the shoe. What this does is it basically just gives you loads of support, like through your knees, through your joints. And I know that is something which, if you haven't really ran before, and especially new runners who aren't as used to running or haven't ran as much as they usually would, they experience a lot of knee and joint pains as such. We'll move around to the back of the shoe. Nike have put this grey bar in around the heel counter. What this provides is just a little bit more stability in the heel. As you can see from like the inner of the heel, there's not much protection as you would get from like other brands such as your Asics or your Adidas or your Mizunos. It's very thin. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this. I don't like shoes that, in the heel especially, that have got all of this cushioning because it just gives just the friction. It's just, I've got quite thin ankles basically, very thin heels, and the friction just gives me blisters. But with this shoe in particular, I haven't had that, which is like a main kind of reason why I brought the shoe as well. To the outsole of the shoe now, as you can see, there's a lot of rubber here. This is just going to make the shoe so much more durable because obviously you've got this Nike React foam. Now without this rubber, it's just going to eat away and that you probably aren't going to get as many miles in. Nike kind of developed this and have put a lot more rubber in here. So there's plenty of miles to be running these shoes. So there's kind of no excuses to be like, oh, I've done 100 miles, let's just throw it. Just keep the shoe. They're a great shoe. They'll last you like 500 miles. So there's no excuses. So then we're gonna go to the Flyknit material. Ooh, it's lovely. Feels really nice. It's very lightweight, and also it's very comfortable. It kind of acts as like a sock essentially. Due to it being very lightweight as well, it is very breathable. So your feet don't get very sweaty, which is always nice. Now let's move on to the cons of this shoe. When I first tried on these shoes, when I was running on the treadmill, I went for my usual size. So I'm a size 10.5. Big feet, I know. It's just a little loose, so I would recommend if you are looking to buy this shoe, I would go half a size down. I think at the time when I did try them on, they felt good, they felt secure. Anything over 8K in these, I just feel like this collar, just my foot starts to move around and I just didn't like that. The conclusion of the shoe, this is not a high performance shoe. I wouldn't take it on like a long tempo run, I wouldn't take it on my interval training days. It's just not a fast shoe. I feel if I was to honestly run my interval sessions in these or anything below 4-minute kilometer pace, I generally think the shoe would fly off. Maybe if it goes down half a size, then maybe I'd reconsider it. Kind of use the shoe as for my steady runs, for my steady pace days, and just recovery days as well. Big question now is, who is this shoe perfect for? Non-runners, so people who are just looking at getting into running. I've had a few people message me and they're like, Jack, what trainers can you recommend? I don't run that much. I don't really have any proper running shoes. What shoes can you recommend? And I have pointed them to this direction. One, because it's got all of this React foam, so it takes a lot of the impact out from your joints and your knees. I know that a lot of people suffer with really bad knees if they've just started running. But I think if you've got a shoe with this stack height and with all this foam, I think it will help massively. And overall, it will just make your run fun. And it's great for those more experienced runners as well. If you're looking for a shoe for your recovery days or your steady pace days, then I can't fault the shoe enough. It's just a really, really comfortable shoe, and it's just going to give you a comfortable ride as well. Okay, and then moving on to the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2s. So at the moment, they are hands down my favorite trainer. Absolutely love it. Did the 16K in them today. Such a comfy shoe, great for those long distance runs, and you feel, which the Reacts don't give you as much, as you feel really, really locked down in them, and you feel like you have much more control over the shoe. Is kind of the best way for me to describe it. Very lightweight shoe, it's a very breathable shoe, which is definitely something which you want. The last thing you want on a long run is your feet getting sweaty, your feet start sliding around in the shoe. Like today, it was warm and it just doesn't happen. Just a great breathable shoe. Firstly, let's move on to the Nike Zoom X midsole. So this bit on here. It's interesting, with these shoes, Nike, what they did is they produced 2 layers of foam, which is something which I didn't know about until quite recently. So the top layer is the lightweight Zoom X. So Nike added a bottom layer of denser React foam, improve the stability of the shoe in general. The rubber outsole of the shoe. This is one concern that I've had, but as you can see, the Turbo 2s have a very, very thin layer of rubber. Now for me, I strike with my toes. So the front of the outsole of the foot here, which you can see, the rubber has started to kind of wear away, which is a little bit concerning. These are basically a road shoe, but I have taken these kind of on like gravelly paths or whatever, and I am slipping. I'm like running and I'm slipping, especially going uphill. So that's one drawback. I know it's predominantly a road shoe, but when you're on like those kind of light trails, that's something which is a little bit concerning. The last thing you want is to kind of slip over and break your nose or something. Okay, and then we'll move on to the upper. So a very, very thin upper. I know this isn't flying it, and I think I definitely prefer this kind of style of material on the upper to the Nike Reacts, just because purely my foot just feels locked down, and I just feel I just have more control of the shoe and my foot's not sliding around. So we'll move right round to the heel of the shoe. So it has minimal collar padding. Again, it is like the Reacts. They don't have that much collar padding, like I said, you know, with the Asics or Mizuno's or any other kind of running brand. So with that, you basically mean just you need to keep your laces kind of fairly secure, essentially. Who is this trainer for? Beginners as well as experienced. But for me, I would personally, I haven't really been recommending this shoe to beginners as such, because I just don't think it has that React foam, but just not as much. So you probably wouldn't get the protection as you would out of these than you would from these. I would say if you're a beginner, I would probably stay away from them for the time being and just kind of find your feet, get your miles in like the Reacts or something like that, and just get used to it. The more you build up your aerobic capacity, then you can work on your speed, which is kind of when these come in. I wouldn't call them off and say for beginners not to get these shoes. I would look at probably the Reacts first, but definitely for experienced runners, people who've got a strict training plan, they've got lots of interval training in there, they've got lots of long training in there to go and run around. And then yeah, for me, these are like my go-to trainers at the moment. Like I said, I'm probably gonna purchase another pair of these shoes just because they're really comfy, they're really lightweight, they're a really fast shoe, they're great for my interval training. They're just an all-round bloody brilliant shoe, really. I hope you liked the video. If you did, just give it a like, give it a little comment, let me know kind of what trainers you run in, and hopefully if this helped you, and if you need to know any more information or if I can help you in any way, just drop me a comment, drop me an email. If you liked it, subscribe, and keep running.